And so I'm like, no, they are. Look, they're in the kitchen. You can see them right there. And they were. They're opposite ends of the island. He's like, well, let's go in and see what they're up to. I'm like, sounds good. I'm looking this way. And then we turn back to the kitchen, and they're just making out. And I mean, I was like, ah!
Hey guys, Alex Rich.
Ben Poremba.
Hey, we are excited to let you know that we have episodes of our podcast, Jews in the Lou, dropping every other week, and you're not going to want to miss. We have some great guests lined up.
Amazing. And while I have you, I want to thank the St. Louis Jewish Light for their incredible partnership and support of our podcast. St. Louis Jewish Light doing amazing work for our community, keeping us informed with stories, with updates.
And visit stljewishlight.org. Subscribe to their newsletter. They'll keep you up to date on everything going on.
Absolutely. Well, see you soon.
The Babitz brothers. Well, let's start by just first saying nothing against Joe Babitz.
Yeah, dude.
But you guys work together.
That's right.
True.
Plus, when you involve a lawyer, this is a former lawyer. When you involve a lawyer, it complicates things a little bit.
For sure.
Andy and Danny Babitz, this is one of the most exciting ones that I'm looking forward to because I know a lot about you guys already, but we're going to dig into like maybe some of the stuff that we haven't talked about, which I don't know what that would be. That would be for you guys to tell me. But for the people that don't know, we've got kind of different generations of like going to high school together, kind of growing up together. So you and my brother kind of grew up together.
That's right. That's right. Me and your older brother, AJ, we grew up going to Sunday school and Hebrew school together, man. It's back at the old United Hebrew.
And then you're a Parkway Central guy.
I'm a Parkway Central guy.
We're Parkway North guys.
That's right, man. Vikings, baby.
Vikings all the way.
Yeah.
And then it's me. I'm a year older than Joe, the youngest Babitz boy.
Yeah.
We could all have been in one household.
I know.
Yeah. We've got very similar mothers, too.
Very similar mothers. But I appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Dude, we're honored. My wife, shout out to Caitlin, loves this thing. And I told her that we were going to be on here. And my status in my household went up
Immediately went up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully your street cred goes up too.
Man, I hope so. I
Our
could use that.
Our street cred is very low. Anything to raise our street cred would be helpful.
Okay, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
But I brought you guys on together because obviously Jews in the Lou, we like to highlight different Jewish individuals that are kind of doing cool things in the community. But also, like, I think what's unique about you guys is, and we'll get into that you're a former lawyer. Is that what you say? You're still technically a lawyer? How does that work?
I used to say that, right? I used to say that, I think, when I was starting the business, but now I say I'm a recovering attorney.
A recovering? Yeah. I'm watching Suits right now, so I'm like,
Suits is good.
I'm all
Great
invested in it.
Great
show. But you guys work together, so it's a family business. It is a family business. Northwestern Mutual in Forest Park.
Yep. That's right, man.
And you guys just moved into your own office space. And I kind of want to go back in time because I don't know if this is something that you always wanted to do. It's definitely not something that you always thought about doing, clearly, because you changed professions.
Yeah.
But talk about, there's a lot of people in the money space, in the finance space, whether it's you're an accountant or you're a financial planner, whatever that may be. But kind of growing up, what made you, is it even something you wanted to do? Is it something that you saw yourself doing, or what stuck out where you were like, this is the path I want to go?
Yeah, I think what's really cool about that is like I had no interest at the beginning in doing this. Really, our uncle, Paul Flotkin, was associated with Northwestern Mutual and kind of left. Our family business for a long time was grocery stores.
Okay.
People listening or watching.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The Flotkins was an incredible supermarket. And
you know where the Shane Co. is on Olive there?
Oh, yeah.
So that was a building that our grandfather had as Flotkin's grocery store.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It was before Cones was Cones, and like it was a place people went for their kosher stuff. And it's kind of like almost this, it kind of had a bit of a Straub's feel, maybe not as super high end, but like it was a community. And we never really got to see it because it
Yeah, I think
closed
there's
down, 88, 90?
80 something a lot. I
Yeah.
think there's a picture. I was born in 84. I think there's a picture of me as a baby, like on the conveyor belt of the checkout lane.
Which is
But-
why he's so messed up
Exactly,
today.
for
but,
sure. But I mean, it's interesting because when you chat with somebody who might be a little bit older than me, I'm 41, somebody in their late 40s, early 50s, especially people in their 60s and 70s, you mention it. If you grew up in St. Louis, it was like being, knowing Ben Paremba, right? Like somebody who had a tie to the community in a specific way. And I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but it's a cool thing because the name Flotkin, which we've both continued on with our kids who have middle names that are Flotkin, is a name that in St. Louis, especially among the Jewish community, is hopefully got still some meaning, and we're grateful to be a part of that, which is really cool.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So our uncle Paul was kind of like getting into a manager status there and found his way towards Northwestern Mutual. And when I was growing up and we were growing up, his youngest, JJ Flotkin, is 7 years older than me.
Okay.
And so, when he went to college, he was, 18 and I was 11. And so we got to go to a lot of stuff with our Uncle Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like not only going to a Cardinals game 4 rows behind the dugout, which was really cool.
Right.
But it was also going to stuff at our congregation and seeing the involvement he had in the community. I mean, he was the president of UH when they moved from Skinker to where it is today in Town and Country. Was he's in the picture. And so I think
He was 36 at the time, by the way, which is nuts to think about.
I'm 39,
Yeah,
so and I saw this life he had where he had this huge impact where he was helping his clients, helping the community, and was able to be a really present father and husband. And so I had no idea what he did. And I was just like, hey, man, I'm a junior in college. All my friends are getting internships. Like, can I have breakfast with you to like figure out what the heck it is you even do?
Yeah.
And we sat down and he shared it with me. And I was just like, I really don't know what the day-to-day is. But if you're telling me that you're making this impact in people's lives, you're able to be this present father, and then also be able to do some really cool stuff for your family too. Like I'm really interested in that. And the thing I remember him saying to me is that there's a lot of different companies, industries, like you said, a lot of, in St. Louis, man, Stiefel, Wells, Edward Jones, all home offices here. He's like, just like any industry, there's good and bad. And he said, the only way you're really going to make it long-term is if you do right by people because the client retention is everything. And that really stuck out to me. So here we are. And what's crazy is Andy joined, 9 years later, we started our own firm and we announced the other day at our ribbon cutting, like we currently serve over 6,500 households. And it's just really been an awesome reward in so many ways.
Yeah.
But like, we know we could also take so much of what we're doing and spread it out as far as impact goes in a different way. And I think that that's, our next step of opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
and I think I've told you guys this before. It's like you were just, your family's great, obviously, but you were just raised the right way where I don't know three of you throw your brother, or 4 of you throw your sister in there in the mix
Amy's
as well.
got to be thrown in, yeah.
Amy's got to be thrown in. But you guys are of course, you're intelligent and very smart and successful people, but I think...
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, well, depends on the day.
You don't know us well enough.
No, but I think the other thing is that you're just genuinely like good people. Anytime anybody ever asks me about the Babitz guys and like why I trust... this is, I guess, the shameless plug for Northwestern and working with you guys, right? But like, there's never a time where I have to worry that what you guys are doing, because candidly, you guys do some stuff with my money as well. But there's never a time where I have to worry about like the right thing being done because you guys do things the right way. And I guess that kind of is my transition into talk about your background as far as like how you guys were raised and the expectations of how you should treat people, or and what of that comes from your Jewish background that you see in your everyday life?
I think it's such a great question. We've talked about this now that we're both fortunate enough to be fathers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a father of 3, he's a father of 2, and we say this all the time. Like our parents should have written a book. Like we have no idea how they did it, how they raised 4, genuinely. Speak for the other 3 really good humans, and I think a lot of it was like our parents, they treated us with the same respect that we should have treated them with, right?
Sure.
Like we were always asked for input. We had real discussions about things, and I think you look at the old Jewish tenet of love thy neighbor as thyself. Like that's the golden rule of everything. And I remember specifically one time speaking to Paul, like one of the things my mom shared with me was like one of the things that Paul really does well is even if you ask him a question, he turns the question of, okay, so what does that mean to you? Or like, what's going on in your life? And I think, you ask anybody about a Flotkin or my father or my mother, our mother, our father is they genuinely care about others and putting others first, and then always doing the right thing and understanding is it takes decades and a lifetime to make a reputation, and just one little thing can ruin it. And so we together have the same values of it's long-term thinking, work hard, do right by others, and genuinely care about the people that you're working with. Yeah. So that was a huge just mindset around the people that we grew up with.
Yeah, it's funny because hopefully Mom will listen to this at some point, right? It's like it doesn't matter what you do as a parent. There's stuff you're going to give your kids and stuff you're going to miss, and they gave us so much more than they missed. And the thing that they gave us over everything else was like the golden rule, like treat others how you want to be treated. And I think that values part of it. One thing for any parents listening, and I feel like that I'm going to take this from them, is we had to go to each other's games. Like,
interesting.
That's all the weekend was. The weekend was sporting events. And so, like, even Amy, who played soccer, and she actually played varsity as a freshman, like,
pretty good soccer player.
But she was on St. Monica's, right? Remember St. Monica's over there? Yeah. Like, there's a field back there, and her best friend's mom coached the team. And I remember going to those games. I met Weston, our brother-in-law, who married Amy,
which is a whole nother. What's the next?
Could do another podcast.
Yeah, that's
no
more.
Kidding.
Yeah,
there's too many layers there.
Yeah.
But at Joe's soccer practice for also St. Monica, which used to be at that little park behind St. Monica, and I met him there. And then years later, he's my best friend and marries Amy. But I think although we didn't love being in elementary school, middle school, and going to our younger or older kids' events, it has made us so that us as siblings, family is always the most important thing.
Yeah.
Always.
And I think it's been better as we've gotten older too, where things always seem great from the outside. We've been able to have challenging conversations with each other. All 4 of our families have different dynamics, and our strong relationship and the value of family over everything else creates this open environment to be able to have those discussions and strengthen our relationship.
Yeah.
Conflict leads to intimacy. And I think that that's been a really good blessing for us.
Yeah, I think that's funny. You touched on it, but is it ever, sometimes, well, from the brotherly perspective, sometimes it's tough to just be brothers and see eye to eye on a lot of stuff.
Hard being brothers.
It's hard. It's hard being brothers.
That's movie quote number 1.
It's hard being
Forrest
brothers.
Gump. Yeah, Forrest Gump. So, see how many movie quotes we can get.
100%. But when you look at like your best friend who ends up marrying your sister, right? It takes, I think, a certain kind of friendship and relationship with, like we talked about, the people outside of your family for you to have that kind of trust. And I think that goes to like back to what I said about like you guys are genuinely like I think some of the most authentic, like real people that you could come across. What was that like dynamic like? I know you're probably years past that it was an awkward conversation, but like how does that even come up? Being able to have the trust in, because it could go two terribly different ways. It either goes the way it did, which is great, movie-esque, talking about movie quotes.
Yeah.
Or it goes to maybe it doesn't work out and that affects your friendship with him.
Yeah, well, we both have stories within this, so I'll just say mine real quick. Is like I was fortunate enough to be the best man in their wedding, and I saw them making out when I was a junior in high school, and never told them about it. Like,
really?
Yeah. I mean, it was like,
is this the first they're going to hear about it right now?
No,
okay.
Maybe. I mean, we got some time, so I could tell the story real quick. Got back from a high school party junior year, and a few weeks before, Amy was like, she had to tell me that she and Weston were hanging out as friends. And so I kind of thought nothing of it because out of all my friends, Weston was definitely the least threatening. And some people listen, they know some of my other friends from high school. They'd be like, gosh, good thing it was him.
Good thing it was Weston.
Yeah, some of the other guys. And so I was like, I don't think anything of it. It's Weston,
Right.
And so, love you, Wes. And so it's just kind of funny because get back and I'm with my buddy, Eric, and we pull up and he's like, what? It's like 11:39. So what is Weston's car doing on the driveway? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to say, they're like hanging out as friends. And Eric's, in the driver's seat, and he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, I'm sure they're hanging out as friends." And so I'm like, "No, they are. Look, they're in the kitchen. You can see them right there." And they were. They're opposite ends of the island. He's like, "Well, let's go in and see what they're up to." I'm like, "Sounds good. I'm looking this way." And then we turn back to the kitchen, and they're just making out. And I mean, I was like, ah! And so I like begged Eric to drive the car. He couldn't stop laughing. And I didn't tell them this story until I shared this at their wedding. I think it was either at their wedding or after they got engaged, which was so much further down the road because I just didn't want to make it weird. And I knew a couple weeks after that, Weston approached me and it was fine. But because of who they are and just Weston fitting in with the values of our family, I mean, he was even on Andy's bachelor party when they were not together. That's how close he was with our family.
Really?
So,
Yeah, I mean, the coolest thing, like, I think it was a blessing that we didn't go to the same high school.
Right.
Because,
You two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not because we would have been a problem, right? But like, we grew up doing everything together. We're 25 months apart. And, we got good at sports because every day we would go out and play something, basketball, baseball, football, whatever. And we got to kind of have our own experiences in high school.
Which, by the way, I want to come back to this. The Babitz brothers, I'm kind of looking at all the cameras, hands down some of the greatest. I've talked to other people about this. Hands down some of the greatest intramural athletes. That's
Intramural.
Bold, italicized.
Coming from one of the best himself.
Dude, I am telling you, I don't think there's an intramural like type like extracurricular activity you guys haven't been successful in. Like,
We've got some championships together.
I'm telling
three of
you,
us on the same team.
100%.
Touring and turfs.
So I had to throw that in
Well, I
there.
appreciate that.
That means a
right?
lot to us because without the intramural, it wouldn't be a true
Right. It's coming from three vertically challenged Jews, right? But we got back to like I did my kind of own thing and in the fraternity at Mizzou for a while, and then I recruited Danny and Weston to be in the fraternity, and that was a huge like value add for all of us that I became really close, obviously with Danny, who was my best friend anyways, but with Weston too. And I'm not going to get into the details of all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like when you're in high school, the last person you ever want to be with your sister is your best friend or somebody that you know.
Right.
But when you get into your mid to late 20s and early 30s, like you're blessed that it's somebody that you trust.
Right.
It's somebody who you know is not going to do anything wrong to that person or the rest of the family. And it's somebody that you can constantly mess with. Like
Yeah,
it's
for
just,
sure, for
it's
sure.
amazing that we get that relationship with Weston.
It's rare.
So yeah, it's really rare. And we're really fortunate that, you know, he is our brother. And then, you know, he gets the opportunity to interact with the Babitz / Flotkin family, which
an
I look
honor.
directly at the camera and know that he absolutely loves.
Yes, he does. Yes. He's one fortunate fella.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
get it sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt, yeah.
I think that's a good a good opportunity to talk about like you two working together,
Yeah.
because you hear a lot about family businesses. There's family businesses that at times the parent who, you know, whoever owns the business is passing it on, and then the siblings start working together, and maybe things don't work out, or maybe there's you know, disagreements on certain things, and some people don't necessarily like the idea of doing business with either good friends or family, whatever that may be. But we talked obviously a lot about who you guys are and your background and how you were brought up. But how do you think that you have been able to find success doing that? Like, what are the key pieces that stick out to you where it's like, I really love, like, you brought Andy on the team. Like, it took a lot of, I would have to say, risk.
There was a lot of risks. I mean, I have, looking back 7.5 years ago, like the amount of risks that Danny took to not only me, but to my wife and my kids of, hey, look, I think this is going to work. I think you have the tools to be successful in this business. And for me, being an attorney, like Danny and I, we're insanely in sync with our values, right? We have the same values, the same work ethic, but I never thought, you know, whether you're a financial advisor, insurance, whatever it is, in anything in life, you have to be good at sales, in my opinion. And I always was of the opinion Danny can sell ice to an Eskimo in the middle of winter, right? And he can, and it's a great skill, right? I never thought I had that skill.
Sure.
And to Danny's credit, he was able to see in me the fact that I think my skill is the ability to relate with people. And he saw that I could take that skill along with the systems and processes that he created to create a really successful business that we've been able to create. And, you know, it took a lot of faith on my part to say, okay, I'm going to trust my younger brother
Right.
with my business, my income, my family. And I said to myself, for 1 year, whatever he says, I'm going to say yes to.
Yeah.
And he put more time into me than he's ever put into himself or anyone else. And I'm so lucky that he did that. And you know, now, you know, I'll let him talk a little bit more about this, but like, you know, it's crazy where we've, you know, been able to take this to, where, I mean, in a couple of weeks, where a team in upstate New York is flying us out there to talk to their team about how to create, you know, more business and to build a team and things of that nature. So just a 9-year effort on his part.
He's relentless.
He is. But you know, thank God it's paid off, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to hear all that, and it was. I think what's really unique or cool is what Andy said. We're insanely aligned and in sync with our values, and that's why I felt like we could do it. But it took a lot, and I think the question was like how or what advice or whatever. It actually brought us closer. You know, in any relationship, and I'm sure everyone listening can attest to this, in any relationship, the challenges come from a misalignment of expectations.
Right.
And Andy and I have always been really good friends, but, you know, building our fraternity, playing intramural sports, like we've never had to really go down that path. And so we were just so clear with each other on like, what he needed to do, what I needed to do, and what we were going to allow to come into the space for the first time in our relationship, which is challenge the heck out of each other.
Right.
And give direct feedback. And in the moment, it can sometimes hurt and be challenging, but you know that when you care more about the person than how they feel about you in the moment, the results can be really great.
Right.
So, we have an awesome team member named Kara who started with me a month or two before Andy. And then when he started, it was just the three of us. And it's not like we took over any business. We started this from scratch.
Yeah.
And it's been really rewarding. But there's all these challenges that come with us, and it's made our relationship a lot stronger, which is cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like it's fun to see like you guys spend a lot of time together, obviously, but like that doesn't ever stop you from wanting to spend more time.
Correct.
Like I know that may sound
we wish we could spend more time together.
Yeah, I mean it may sound crazy to people. It's like, well, obviously, it's like it's family, but like. Also, at the same time, there are a lot of people out there that do get sick of family and hanging out with the family and stuff. But like even things that you guys are doing as a family on the weekends, you've never let work or what you guys do professionally ever come between them. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's because you genuinely, you're always kind of working in a sense where you're never really working because you don't look at it as a job. You look at it as something you're really passionate about and you're doing.
100%. And I think there's no bigger cheerleader in, we're partners in a lot of sense and we run in our own lanes in a lot of sense within the business, but there's no bigger cheerleader for either of us in our own individual endeavors than each other.
What was the parent opinion? Because this is a Jewish podcast.
Sure.
So there's always a parent opinion on the Jewish podcast. What was the perspective from your parents when you approached this idea? Because law school is not cheap. Takes you're there for years.
Yeah, 3 years.
So you're putting a lot of time and money into it. What was the conversation like when the idea first came? Hey, like I think Andy would be great, like working with me.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is we visited for the first time in 2011, a year after he was an attorney, like graduated law school a year after. And he almost did this because he wasn't wildly passionate about the actual work itself that he was doing. And I kind of knew that. And so again, in 13 and 16, I think our parents knew that like, if he was going to do this,
right,
that we would go through the right steps to make sure that we were aligned. I don't think they were ever nervous that it wouldn't work if he decided to do this.
Right.
Because they know who he is. And on the flip side, I think that they just trusted me that like, I didn't even know my like strongest relationship in my life over here. I'm not going to ruin that just for business.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. And that's when you feel like, to me, what we do is a passion and a lifestyle so much more so than anything else.
Like his success, like you said, was more important to you than your own personal success.
100%.
Success.
And,
Yeah,
and that
100%.
you could see that. And for me, I was fortunate enough to be able to know that he had done it at the highest of high levels. And he had done it as a 22-year-old during the Great Recession.
Right.
Right. Like the difficulties that he faced and the difficulties that I faced were different. Right.
Yeah.
Like people knew the difficulty for me was, oh, why did you switch from being a lawyer to a financial advisor? But you're 34 years old. I kind of trust you. You've got a JD, you're a good guy, blah, blah. Right. But here's a 22-year-old kid with nothing. And he was able to become one of the best advisors in the country and build an incredible practice. So I knew I had seen the success that he had. And so not only did I trust him as a person, as a brother, as a best friend, but I trusted the fact that he was really freaking good at the business.
Yeah.
And I could learn from him. And I think when it comes to anything in life, I mean, we all, again, former amazing intramural athletes
Sure.
who would rather be good at golf, who all kind of are hackers when it comes to golf.
You guys are
right?
pretty. You guys are consistent.
But I mean,
No one hits it further than you.
No.
You crush the ball.
But I mean, we all could learn from anybody
Yeah.
in any capacity. So
Do you because he mentioned you got into the business at a really right out of college at a young age. You faced a lot of adversity along the way. I'm sure as it's a competitive business, there's a lot of people that are out there having these conversations, and you at 22 are trying to get these people to trust a young guy, intelligent guy with financial decisions and guiding them on a path. I'm sure a lot of the conversations you were having were with your parents' friends and things like that, where it's like there's a lot of pressure to make sure that you're not gonna frankly just mess this up, right?
Yeah.
How
totally.
I can't imagine the amount of times that you probably looked and thought, this is too hard, I don't want to do this, as we all get into those challenges. But talk about kind of some of that, and whereas maybe your Jewish background is always advocating for yourself, that what we talk about on this podcast often is you're always having to advocate for yourself because nobody else is going to do that for us, especially in the world that we're living in right now. It just is what it is. There's always somebody out there that's going to be saying something negative about Jewish people or the Jewish background or whatever it is. But looking at your professional life and personal life, what have you seen as far as instances where you've had to overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jewish values, again, I think why we love our religion, and even my wife, with our boys go to United Hebrew,
and your wife is not
she's
originally not
no,
Jewish, and
no,
mine either.
Yeah, and they're gonna get bar mitzvah. She
Yep.
loves the Jewish traditions, and it's really cool. And maybe someday she'll convert. She has not, and whenever people ask her, she's just like, I might at some point.
Right.
But today she's just like, I love the tradition and I love the values and what they stand for. And I think so many of our values, gosh, you can go all the way back in the Bible. Hey, Moses never gave up. These people never gave up. I think you also have to be so clear on what the vision is that it gets you. And where I was really lucky was every time it got really hard, I was like, well, I can quit, but I won't be able to even come close to scratching the surface of the life that my Uncle Paul has,
Right.
and the impact that he's made. And when it was the decision to hang up the towel, or whatever they call it, hang up the intramural sports version of professional world, right? I wasn't willing to not get that. And I think that was really important. But I also think, there's a value we have of you got to finish what you start. You got to finish what you start. And that's something that I really hold near and dear. I mean, part of this is that everybody almost quits. And the last thing I'll say about all this, going on too long, is I think what's challenging being connected to Northwestern Mutual is that there's 300 offices nationwide. There's a lot of offices local. Everybody runs things a little bit differently. And I think where my faith came in was I remember calling people my first year who had said, I've met with a lot of Northwestern people in the past. It's never been for me. And I kind of took that as I don't want to say a chip on my shoulder, but hey, look, I have nothing negative to say about any of those folks. But what I know is that Northwestern Mutual is a great company, but you're not essentially buying the company. You're buying the person. You're buying the trusting them. And sales, as you guys say, is not infomercials. It's not the energy and the used car stuff.
Right.
It is building relationships, asking good questions, and listening to what people want, and then delivering what they want. So I feel like that had a lot to do with it too.
But it is interesting that you brought that up because I guess, how many people, like you said, have gotten calls or had meetings with Northwestern Mutual, somebody that's just starting out, whatever, and they get this bad negative connotation in their head when Joe Schmo, Northwestern Mutual picks up and they're like, "Hey, I'm got this product. I want to talk to you about it." But you never let that bother you. You, like you said, you just kind of, it was a chip on your shoulder, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you're overcoming that. You're not letting what other people have thought about Northwestern Mutual as a company in the past, right? Like everybody's got an opinion about every different company, right?
And
But go ahead.
well, I was just going to say that the industry itself has a insanely low retention rate, not just Northwestern Mutual, but Ed Jones and Wells Fargo and all of it's a insanely competitive industry. And crazily, St. Louis is the highest per capita financial advisor of any. I guess you could still call St. Louis a major city. But you know, getting back to kind of your, like, you look at just, I think there's a reason that Jewish professionals have been successful is because for thousands of years, nobody handed anything to Jewish people, right? The reason we got into the lending business is because they wouldn't let us do anything else, right? And there's always that mentality of somebody's out to get us because there's always been that. And so we've had to, as a people, always work hard, always not give up, like be the hardest working, smartest people in the room. Because if we didn't, we'd be screwed. Like there's no one's going to come out and say, "Okay, Jews, here's this, here's that," right? And I mean, you know, you're doing the same thing with what you do in terms of getting out there and working harder and being better than people because of your work ethic.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I was also thinking in my head when you were talking about that, you know, you've kind of hit that Jewish stereotype of like, you've checked two things off. You've been a lawyer and a financial advisor.
Totally.
Like, are you kidding me? Dude? Like,
Couldn't be a doctor. Got squeamish in the blood. Got squeamish in the blood.
Yeah.
My sister was our sister was a burn ICU nurse. She could handle that stuff. But I remember in 7th grade being like, "Oh, I could be. I think we dissect the worm," and I threw up. It was not gonna happen for
Frog
me.
was 7th grade, so yeah.
oh man, that's hilarious. Are there things that like you guys want to carry on with your family? Like you guys both have like kids of your own, obviously. Are there things where now that you have children, traditions in the Jewish faith that you were raised on that maybe that you want to carry on, or like with your wife specifically, that she sees, you talked about the Jewish traditions, that she sees as like, that's super important. I love that specific thing that you guys do. Like it could be not necessarily a Shabbat dinner, but like Annie and I talk about all the time. Like maybe we're not celebrating the traditional Shabbat where you're lighting candles and it's more of the idea of just you're coming together as a family and just celebrating the time of the week to kind of wind down and just be together. Are there things that stick out to you from when you were raised or just from how you're raising your family?
Yeah, I would say for me, you know, what's really cool is Caitlin loves lighting the Hanukkah candles, right? I mean, she makes it something we have to do every night. And not that we have to because anyone's telling us to, she just loves it. And learning some of the songs and, you know, we go to Kol Nidre, like just the two of us, because she really loves that. I think there's just a vibe throughout all of the Judaism that we were raised on that is, again, rooted in this, like, it's all about being a good person and the values, not, hey, believe this or this happens.
Totally.
And she went to Catholic school growing up, and I think that, again, I think that she really likes that part, and that means so much to me. So, you know, our parents to us before we went to bed every night would say, before I sleep, I like to say, thank you, God, for a happy day. And then we'd sing the Shema, and I do that. And
I do that too.
Yeah. And she loves that. And we know our cousins do that. Like, and so, it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
And, the other day she was like, I was putting Brooks down and she doesn't know the Shema all the way through, right? And so she was like, I need to do that because he was asking me to do it. And so
getting
here I am. I'm
smart
like,
enough now.
I'll forget if I don't do this
Yeah.
now. So I recorded it on my phone and
Yeah.
like sent it to her.
Yeah.
But like, it just means a lot to me that it's not about the Torah. It's about
It's not about the beliefs,
Judaism.
right.
Yeah, it's about the Judaism and the feeling, and the family is how we associate.
I think the family's key, right? And I think Danny and I are both, we're very forward thinking, right? But we believe that the past and traditions have a huge impact on life, right? So both of us he lives in U City, I live in East Creve Coeur. We both pass 4 or 5 different synagogues every day to take our kids to Chesterfield to go to United Hebrew.
Right.
We could go to, and there's nothing wrong with the other synagogues, obviously, right? But we feel as our kids are 5th generation UH members, like there's a reason that we do that because of the continuity, because of the traditions, because our uncle built that synagogue and our great grandfather was a board member on that synagogue in the early 1900s. So,
And Alex Rich is on the
exactly.
I'm up
right?
there. You look forward to coming and seeing.
for
But dude, don't let
100%.
him fool you. This guy can sing all.
he's
Dude,
super good.
Well, this guy, I mean, you guys, that's what I'm saying. Multi-talented. Are you kidding me? Like, you're still playing the guitar a little bit? You ever pick it up?
I need to get back into it. Yes.
No,
yes.
shameless plug. I'm going to be leading the synagogue services on June 5th.
Are
since
you
they
really?
can't- Yeah. You want to come up there and lead
I
with
might
me?
have to.
Come on.
I might have to.
Let's
How'd this
do
come
it.
about?
Our cantor Richmond is going back to New Jersey, so the synagogue is going to be without a cantor for a couple of weeks. And
Cantor Babitz for a
the
while.
Cantor Babitz.
He's good, man.
It
Wow.
should be a good time. But back to I think for me and Diana, like the Judaism itself, like Danny said, it's about the traditions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the traditions. Our kids go to Sunday school. They're going to get bar bat mitzvah. They're going to get confirmed. And the other thing that we are really trying to instill from a tradition is just a really strong belief in and support of the state of Israel. Like just because of, I think for obvious reasons, just of always wanting to support the state of Israel. But I think, we as Jews have been, in a position of relative ease in this country for the last 40 or 50 years. And that's unfortunately shifting. And I think just as an existential piece, we've got to support the state of Israel because you never know when we may have to be there. I'm not that type of person that says that,
Right.
but that's just, those are the synagogue, the Judaism itself, as a tradition, the holidays and supporting the state of Israel, massive importance things to me and Diana.
Does it worry you guys that your children, which obviously this is something you teach them, that it's important to be proud of it, but does it worry you in the state of the state that we're like,
Sure.
people are saying like it's cool to be anti-Semitic now,
Yeah.
right? Like for whatever reason, that's a thing, which is crazy to think about, like that we've gone back that direction. But does it worry you guys, or how are those conversations with your kids, if you have them at all, or if you're prepared to have those conversations?
I think it's become, my oldest is 11, right? So I think of all the 5 of the kids that we have between us, she's probably the one who knows the most or hears the most. And I think you see what's going on university campuses, and you see what's going on at Jewish day schools. And it's a scary time, but like everything else in life, you can never live in fear. You just can't. And you have to be, we're proud to be Jewish. It's something that we also take into our role, there was a time where Northwestern Mutual as a company would invoke the name of Christ in the public company prayers. And that's been something that we've advocated for change around, and they've asked us a lot of things about the Jewish religion. And so those are really important things for us. Yeah.
It's cool. That's good that you, within the overall company, like you guys, you've built up that, that reputation to have that voice, but like the fact that you have a voice that's much bigger than just speaking on your own behalf. You're speaking on behalf of every Jewish person that may feel some type of way about something that was in, in whatever the bylaws of the company, but like you that don't ever speak up. There's, however many Jewish people that probably work for Northwestern Mutual across the entire country that it's, their voice is smaller where they haven't felt like they could speak up. And now you guys are kind of advocating where it's like, hey, not everybody believes this way. Like we need to it's kind of you believe what you want to believe as long as you're a good person. It's like, I think that's kind of in my perspective of like what Judaism is like, again, it's not necessarily like what you believe or who you believe or whatever it is, but it's like just understanding at the end of the day, everybody's a good person and just like be good to the next person and continue to kind of like pay it forward. We're talking about movies, pay it forward, you know? Yeah. Like, I think that's like, to me, that's the idealistic, like, thought of Judaism.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I think, what's really cool is there's so many companies that they just did things one way for so long. And like, I've been in Northwestern Mutual. It'll be 18 years on June 2nd.
Unbelievable.
They are one of the strongest financial institutions in America. And they are so open to feedback and they're so agile. They always do what's right. Their financial strength ratings couldn't be higher. And what's we were talking about earlier, some of the challenges is that, everyone operates differently. And when you have a massive company doing so well and you have all these individual sole proprietors out there, the people that have been around even just a few years, I mean, even, Andy's 7.5 years now, it's amazing to see what they do, what they do for the community, how open they are to feedback and change. And I think that our Judaism, growing up, probably, strong, opinionated mothers who, it was never about wearing your yarmulke, but it was always, saying please and thank you, making sure that you are, doing right by others. I mean, gosh, we all made mistakes growing up, but there's Judaism layered in with that.
Right.
And I think we're just really thankful that we had that in our household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there Jewish foods that you love?
Our mom makes the best homemade challah. I mean, homemade challah.
She braid it?
Yes, it is dense. It is unbelievable.
Really?
It's excellent.
Crushes the matzo balls.
We'll get you a
I need to.
We should have brought one.
You should have. That would have been a good. That would have been a good little snack.
That is, yeah. I mean, what are some other
latkes? I mean, she makes all the.
I like lox and bagels. He's not a big lox and bagel.
I hate to say it on the podcast too. I've not. Of course, I love a bagel, but the lox, I like it. It's just something about it. There's just other things I'd rather have.
Sure.
Same. Yeah. Totally.
I've seen you post a picture of the latkes that your mom makes, totally from scratch.
Yeah, 100%.
No mix or anything. She
she shreds the potatoes. She cuts up the onions. It's
brisket for the big holidays.
Brisket is amazing. Love some brisket.
Yeah, the key is you take a piece of her homemade challah, and then you take 2 of her homemade latkes, and then a little bit of her brisket. And you cover it with another piece of challah. Maybe put a little bit of dip into the jus, and that is the best sandwich a human can have.
Yes.
Let me tell you.
If there's one problem that we had in our lives, it was eating too much of this good
We're
food.
both on 75 hard right now, so the challah wouldn't have worked out,
That's hilarious. I mean, honestly, though, I'm with you guys. I love food in general. Maybe that's some of our Jewish background. I don't know that I've ever met a Jewish person that doesn't love food.
For sure. What are we doing for dinner? Like that.
I'm always thinking about the next meal, honestly.
100%.
Me too, bud.
I really am. And you guys, you're doing that 75 hard. I need to get on that, but I can't. I tell myself I can't, but this is talking to you guys. It's like, you're like, just lock in and do it, man.
When's Annie due again?
September.
Oh, dude, you should do it now. I did it the first time Caitlin was pregnant to go through something hard while she was going through something hard.
How about that thought?
Yeah, I did in the first trimester, which was a terrible mistake because she was like, not feeling great all the time. And probably the second trimester is the time to do it.
Well, let me tell you, I'm just recovering from this foot surgery.
Sure.
I had
Yeah.
been in a boot it was a good 3 months. I was in
can't
that
believe
boot,
that,
man.
man.
And talk about something hard. I don't know that I'm ready for it. Like it was terrible. It was terrible timing because they kind of tell you, but you're like, maybe it does. Maybe it's gonna be a little not as bad as they say. But then like, she's nauseous. I'm asking for an ice pack. I can't move off the couch. She's trying to hold on for dear life.
You got to stay healthy.
You know,
gotta stay healthy. It's tough. It's tough.
We have it so easy as men, like for what the women have to go through the whole pregnancy and everything. Like we're very lucky and we're all blessed with the wives that we have and with the women we have in our lives.
100%.
So
100%.
we are very lucky.
Yes. It's and you'll see this too. Like I think both of us we're former intramural glory champions. We've built luckily very successful businesses. We both have incredibly loving, amazing wives, but like there's something about being a father that is it's a different role. It's the most challenging, but it's the most rewarding.
Yeah.
And we are so excited for you to
Yeah,
go
dude.
through that.
I appreciate
because
it. Yeah.
You're going to be, plus Norm, you got a great example,
Norm,
right?
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And you're going to crush it, man.
We're very excited. We're looking forward to it. But I appreciate those kind words. It just shows the kind of, like I said, this is not just me talking bullshit because we're on the camera and like, we're talking. Like you guys know, I've always thought like very highly of the Babitz boys, and it's like every time your name comes up around my family too, it's like my mom is always just like trusts that it's being done the right way. It's like it's a crazy world out there, man, and like you guys are in the money business. There's a lot of people that do sketchy, weird shit in the money business at times, and like again, that's never ever something that's like that you even have to think twice about with you guys, because it's just, you go back to the core of who you guys are. And I think people can see here during this conversation, like really just genuinely how good of people that you are, like deep down, and just even like not even deep down. You don't have to look that deep into you. It's just like right there, you meet you guys and it's, you are getting exactly what you see.
Well, thanks. Man. That means a lot to us. It's what we strive for, and we're insanely proud of you for all the stuff that you've been doing.
Amazing,
man.
amazing. Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about your just ability to improve, like you're on the guitar and you're singing, and
so good.
I love hearing you on the MAGA show in the morning.
Oh my God, dude.
It's so funny. It's great.
Our street cred improves and people find out that we're
100%.
Like,
100%.
I appreciate it.
100%.
Like that's I'm
Yes.
telling you, man.
Well,
It's,
and I think one thing before we wrap up, is there anything? Well, I want to touch because you do a lot with the Alex's Lemonade Stand, which I play at every year as well.
dude,
But-
you are amazing. The way that you show up, what you bring to the table. You always stay late.
Yeah.
You always charge us way less than what your
100%.
fee is.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I appreciate that. But I think like that just shows another side of you, like the charitable aspect of like that has nothing to do with Judaism or anything like relative to even like what you do professionally. It's just something that you've gotten behind with Northwestern over the years. And I think it's really incredible, like the impact that you're making that doesn't financially it's something that doesn't financially benefit you. It's not these are people's stories who you don't know them necessarily personally, but then you hear their stories, you get to know them, and then you make a genuine, real difference. And I think that do you want to say anything about Alex's Lemonade
Yeah,
Stand?
I mean, I'll say we have an awesome event this year, September 17th. You know, it's where you got married.
Mhm.
So,
oh man, Union Station, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, so it started in 2016 on a rooftop, 75 people, and now we had over 300 last year, and so we keep having to change the venue. I I think it's just, you say maybe, not totally connected to Judaism, but, tzedakah. And I think our parents, no matter if we were having a great year financially in our household or not, we were always giving back to the community. We sang at an old folks' home on Christmas one time, because we didn't really celebrate Christmas other than the Chinese food
and the bowling. I'd see you guys over at the shots.
Yeah, everyone. 12 and the bowling.
Bowling and movies for sure, or Chinese and movies for sure. But bowling was open, so that was fun. But I think it's all the money goes to pediatric cancer research. Only 4% of federal funding goes to pediatric cancer research. Yeah. And so, we have this desire to impact the community through the work we do, but we also want to be financially successful so that we can pour back our own resources and get others involved in it. So the last 3 years, we've raised over $100,000 each year at this event. And unfortunately, last year we had a speaker, a little girl, some people probably know her, Josie, and she passed away a couple weeks ago. And it's just like you hear that stuff, and it's so heartbreaking. And I think we can really make an impact. Yeah. And what's really cool is that a lot of people who come, you would think they're coming, oh, hey, it's open bar with a ticket or whatever it is. Everyone started to wear lemon gear. It's Alex's lemonade. Dude, people are there for the
100%
for the cause, not all the benefits of the event.
Totally.
For sure. Yeah. Totally. And you looked awesome last year in your full.
We were matching. Oh, yeah, we had the Kenny Flowers.
It's amazing. And I think this was a vision that he had, and you talk about things that we want to instill in our kids, like this year around Christmas, we brought our kids to the office. We gathered a bunch of bags and we gave it to the hospital floor. And just those are the type of things, because you can see the impact of it. And that whole tzedakah thing, make the world a better place, all of that stuff. Like, what this event does is all of this money goes directly to the right type of people. There's no administration, right. So thanks for helping us being a part of that, and thanks for having us here. This was fun.
Of course,
this was a lot of fun,
dude. I'm so pumped that you guys were able to come make this happen. Is there anything else you want to share? Like anything else that people should know about the two of the three Babitz brothers?
I mean, I think the only thing we would say is our business has really evolved, and we just love the work we get to do with our clients. Yep. It's a joke. It's like, it's not your mother's or father's or grandfather's Northwestern Mutual. Like, it is significantly different. Andy's one of 5 CFPs we have in our firm. We're doing things differently, and that's why in our space, you've been there, it's a unique, different space.
Best cold brew in town.
Yeah, thanks.
Isn't that right?
Come on by, have some cold brew.
It comes right out of the.
But I think at the end of the day, we are going back to the original conversation with my uncle. It's like, you have to do right by people. And as long as you do right by people, you get everything you ever want. And that's, something that we really try to live by.
100%.
I love it. You guys are the best. Andy and Danny Babitz.
Hey, thanks,
Alex.
Rich, baby. You guys are awesome.
Rich, and an honorary Babitz, bro.
Okay,
100%.
I'll take it.
Yes,
I'll
got
take
the
it.
potato.
Come on, we all kind of, we got to get you a beer,
I
dude.
know. I can't grow anything up here.